What happens when two of music's most powerful voices clash in a way absolutely nobody expected? The Kelly Clarkson Show has always been known for its warm and inviting vibe. But today's episode took a turn that left the entire studio frozen in disbelief. Adam Lambert, the electrifying vocalist who shot to fame on American Idol and later became the frontman of Queen, sat down with fellow Idol alum Kelly Clarkson for what was meant to be a fun, easygoing conversation about his latest projects. Instead, things spiraled into a tense back and forth that escalated so sharply, Adam ended up walking off the set in the middle of the interview. Before we get into exactly what unfolded, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and let me know in the comments what you think really caused this blow up. Kelly kicked off the chat with her usual bright enthusiasm, welcoming Adam with a big grin. The audience cheered as he settled into his seat, and at first, everything felt completely normal. They joked about their Idol days, swapped a few memories, and Adam mentioned his upcoming tour. But then Kelly shifted the tone of the conversation in a way that instantly changed the atmosphere. "So, Adam," she began, leaning in slightly, "I want to ask you something I think a lot of people are wondering." She paused, then continued. "You've been the frontman of Queen for over a decade, and you've done an amazing job honoring Freddie's legacy. But recently there's been talk, some criticism, really, from people saying maybe it's time to step back and let the band's legacy rest. What do you say to people who feel that way?" The question lingered in the room. Adam's smile dimmed just a little, and you could see him absorbing the weight of what she'd asked. "Well, Kelly, I'd say those people don't really understand what Brian and Roger wanted when they asked me to join them," he replied, still composed but noticeably cooler. "We're not trying to replace Freddie. Nobody could ever replace Freddie Mercury. What we're doing is keeping his music alive for new generations." Kelly nodded, but then continued pushing. "I totally get that, and I think you do a phenomenal job. But do you ever feel like a broken bar? I don't know, a broken bar like you're always going to be compared to Freddie? Like no matter what you do, you're always going to be in that shadow?" Adam's jaw tightened. "That's part of the job, Kelly. I knew what I was stepping into, but I don't think about it as living in a shadow. I see it as stepping into a spotlight Freddie created, and I'm honored to stand there." "Right," Kelly said. "But be honest with me." Her tone shifted. She wasn't letting this topic go. "Don't you sometimes wish people recognized you more for your own music, your own artistry, instead of mainly seeing you as the guy who sings with Queen? I mean, your solo work is incredible, but let's be real, most people associate you with Queen now." The studio fell silent. This wasn't the playful banter anyone had expected. Adam shifted slightly, visibly uncomfortable. "Kelly, I'm proud of everything I've done with Queen and on my own. I don't feel the need to prioritize one over the other." "But come on," Kelly pressed, now sounding more insistent than curious. "You can't tell me it doesn't bother you even a little. You were supposed to be this huge breakout star after Idol, and yes, you've been successful, but not at the level people predicted. Meanwhile, you're touring the world singing someone else's songs. That must sting sometime as a broken bar, doesn't it?" Adam's expression changed. "Hurt, frustration, maybe both." "I think you're projecting, Kelly," he replied. "Just because my path doesn't look like yours doesn't mean it's disappointing. I've sold millions of albums, toured the world, and I get to perform with one of the most legendary rock bands ever. I'm very happy with where I am." Kelly let out a laugh, but it wasn't her usual friendly laugh. It sounded forced. "Projecting, Adam? I'm asking questions people want answered. You don't need to get defensive." "I'm not defensive," Adam shot back, his voice rising. "I'm wondering why you're so determined to frame my career as some sort of consolation prize. Is this really about me, a broken bar, or about something else?" The studio tension was thick now. Kelly's smile froze into something stiff and professional, but the warmth was gone. "I don't know what you're implying," she said. "Don't you?" Adam leaned forward, matching her energy. "Because it sounds like you're trying to make some point about success and expectations, and you're using my career as the example." Kelly's face tightened. "Adam, that's ridiculous. I'm doing my job. If you can't handle a few tough questions, maybe interviews aren't for you. Tough questions? Adam echoed. There's a difference between tough questions and passive-aggressive ones. You've spent the last 5 minutes suggesting my career is disappointing and that I live in someone else's shadow. How is that an interesting conversation? That's just disrespectful. The audience didn't make a sound. People glanced at each other uncomfortably. Even the producers off camera looked uneasy. Kelly crossed her arms. I've done nothing but compliment your talent. I literally said you were amazing, right before implying I should quit Queen and hinting that I'm not living up to my potential. Adam countered. Those compliments don't mean much when they're apt in criticism. Kelly's cheeks reddened. Maybe you're reacting so strongly because you know there's some truth in it. Maybe deep down you do wonder about the choices you've made. Adam laughed, but it was sharp, bitter. Oh, so now you're analyzing my feelings? Kelly, you don't know what's in my head. You're making assumptions based on your own lens. What's that supposed to mean? Kelly snapped. It means maybe you're the one bothered by how careers turn out, Adam said, frustration spilling out. Maybe you're projecting your own insecurities onto me. Kelly's eyes widened. My insecurities? Adam, I have a massively successful talk show, Grammy Awards, a wonderful family. What exactly do I have to be insecure about? I don't know, Kelly, Adam said, leaning forward more. You tell me, because from where I'm sitting, you seem very invested in questioning whether I'm satisfied with my own life. Why do you care so much about whether I feel overshadowed? Kelly suddenly stood up, startling the room. I care because I'm trying to have a real conversation, not some scripted promo. I thought we knew each other well enough to be honest. Adam rose to his feet too. Honest? There's a difference between honesty and hostility. And you've been hostile since the moment you started pushing this narrative. I have not been hostile, Kelly insisted, her voice trembling slightly. I've been straightforward. If that's uncomfortable for you, that's not my problem. No, Kelly, Adam said firmly. Your problem is thinking being direct gives you an excuse to be unkind. I'm a guest. I deserve respect. Kelly's hands were shaking as she gestured. I've shown you nothing but respect. The fact that you can't see that is shocking. I invited you here. I've supported your work. And the second I ask something you don't like, you accuse me of being hostile. Adam's voice rose again. Let's recap what you've asked. You questioned if I feel like I'm in Freddie's shadow. You suggested I should step away from Queen. You implied my solo career fell short. Then you accused me of projecting. How is any of that supportive? They stared each other down from opposite sides of the set. For a moment it seemed like Kelly might soften a broken bar, but then her expression hardened again. You know what, Adam? She said quietly, but with a sharper edge than before. Maybe you're right. Maybe I did push too far. But do you want to know why? She took a breath. Because when I look at you, I see someone who settled. Someone who had all this potential, all this spark, and instead of chasing your own vision, you ended up living out someone else's legacy. And maybe it frustrates me because we came from the same place, see a broken bar, and we both had choices to make about what kind of broken bar artists we wanted to become. Adam's expression shifted through several emotions in seconds: disbelief, hurt, and finally something bordering on fury. Settled? Kelly? You think I've settled? He asked, incredulous. Haven't you? Kelly fired back. Tell me honestly, when you were standing on that idol stage, taking risks every week, pushing your voice to the limit, did you picture your future as spending years touring with a legacy band? Or did you imagine something totally different, a broken bar, something that belonged to you alone? What I imagined, Adam replied, his voice low and steady, was a career where I could make music, perform, live, and actually love what I do. And that's exactly what I have. Sorry if that doesn't meet your definition of success, but I don't need your validation or anyone else's. Kelly let out a sharp, humorless laugh. Of course you don't need my validation. But let's be honest here, Adam. How many of your solo albums went platinum? How many #1 hits do you have? Compare that to what you could have achieved, to what people originally thought you were capable of. There it is again, Adam said, shaking his head. Expectations. Everyone else's expectations. Tell me, Kelly, do you ever get tired of living up to what people expect from you? Don't twist this, Kelly snapped. This is about you, is it, though? Adam challenged. Because it feels a lot like you're working through your own issues and I'm just the person you're projecting onto. You want to talk about expectations? Fine, let's talk about yours. How you have to be America's sweetheart every day. How you have to stay upbeat, funny, charming even when you're exhausted. How you can't ever say out loud that maybe the industry wasn't what you hoped it would be. Kelly's composure cracked, the mask slipping for just a moment. You don't know anything about what I deal with, don't I? Adam pressed gently but firmly. We've known each other for years. I've watched you handle this industry. I've seen the smiles, the interviews, the endless press, the pressure to be a Kelly Clarkson every second of the day. I know what it costs. So don't stand there and act like you're above all this while calling me a sellout or a disappointment. That's not fair. That's my job, Kelly said, her voice trembling. I host a talk show. Making people comfortable is literally what I do. And singing with Queen is my job, Adam replied. But you don't see that as valid. You see it as me giving up. Why, Kelly? Why is my happiness not enough for you? Kelly hesitated, breathing unevenly. When she finally spoke, her voice cracked. Because when I look at you, I see wasted potential. I see someone who could have reinvented pop music, someone who could have shattered boundaries a broken bar, and instead you're performing Bohemian Rhapsody for the 1000th time. The words landed like a physical blow. Adam's face went pale before flushing with anger. Wasted potential, he repeated slowly. So that's what you really think? That's what you've been trying to say? Adam, that's not a Kelly began. Yes, it is, he cut in. You absolutely meant it. You think I took the easy road. You think I stopped fighting for something bigger. And you have no idea how insulting that is. You have no idea how hard I've worked, how much I've sacrificed, how much I've had to push through in this business. I do know, Kelly insisted weakly. No, Kelly. You don't, Adam said, shaking his head. Because if you did, you wouldn't reduce my entire life's work to some what could have been fantasy. You talk like success only counts if it looks a certain way your way. He took a breath, voice raw but steady. Let me tell you something. I've achieved things I'm incredibly proud of. I've performed for massive crowds. I've brought joy to fans around the globe. I've helped keep the music of one of the greatest artists who ever lived alive for people who never got to experience him. And if you call that settling, then your idea of success is a very narrow one. Kelly's eyes were filling now, tears clinging to her lashes. I never said you had to be like me, she whispered. But that's exactly what you've been implying, Adam replied gently but firmly. Every question today has been a comparison my path versus your fantasy version of what my path should have been. You wanted some deep, emotional breakthrough moment, but all you did was judge me for not living up to the script in your head. I was trying to have a meaningful conversation, Kelly said as tears spilled down her cheeks. I wanted something real, not another surface-level interview. No, Kelly, Adam corrected softly. You were trying to create a moment for the cameras by tearing me apart. And I'm not obligated to stand here and take it. He reached down and unfastened his microphone, slowly and deliberately. Kelly watched, eyes wide. Adam, please, don't leave. We can fix this. Fix what? Adam asked softly, placing the mic on the table. You made your feelings very clear. You think I settled. You think I wasted my potential. And you think my career isn't good enough for you. What exactly is left to talk about? I'm sorry, Kelly said, her voice breaking. I didn't mean to hurt you. Adam looked at her for a long moment, his expression softening into exhaustion. The anger faded, replaced by disappointment. You know what hurts the most? He said quietly. I came here excited to see you. I thought we were friends. I thought we understood each other. But instead, you spent the whole interview making me feel small for choosing a path I love. We are friends, Kelly insisted, stepping toward him. I pushed too hard. I said things I shouldn't have. But we can move past this. Can we? Adam asked softly. Because right now, It doesn't feel like you respect me. It feels like you pity me, or worse, say like you're disappointed I didn't become the version of me you wanted." Kelly wiped her eyes, mascara smudging. "I do respect you, Adam. I swear I do. You're brilliant. Your voice, your artistry, everything." Beauty broken bar. "But," Adam echoed gently. Kelly's shoulders dropped. "But yeah, broken bar. A part of me wishes you'd chosen a different path. A part of me wishes you'd fought harder to force the mainstream to accept you on your own terms instead of thriving in a structure that already existed. And maybe that's unfair. Maybe that's about me, not you." "It is about you," Adam said, but his tone had softened into something almost compassionate. "You can't hold me to your dreams. You can't measure my happiness using your ruler. I chose what makes me fulfilled. I chose joy, not pressure." "I know," Kelly whispered. "And I'm sorry for making you feel otherwise." Adam nodded. "That's the problem with talk shows. Everything has to be a profound moment. Everything has to be dramatic. And sometimes that means pushing people too far." "Yeah," Kelly murmured. "Sometimes it does." They stood in silence, the studio completely still. Even the producers seemed unsure of what to do. "I think I should go," Adam said finally. "We're both too emotional to continue, and I'd rather walk away before either of us says something we'll regret." Kelly nodded, new tears rolling down her cheeks. "I understand. And I really am sorry. Truly." "I know," Adam said softly. "And for what it's worth, I'm sorry, too. I said some hard things about your career that weren't fair. We're both just trying to survive this insane industry in our own ways." "We are," Kelly agreed. "And I should have respected your way instead of judging it." Adam grabbed his phone from the side table. "Maybe we can talk later, when we've both cooled off. But right now, a broken bar, I need to leave." "Okay," Kelly whispered. "Okay." Adam turned toward the edge of the stage, walking calmly, not angrily, not theatrically, just quietly, with dignity. He left behind a stunned, silent audience, a broken bar, and a tear-streaked host left standing in shock. Just before Adam disappeared behind the curtain, he slowed, turned back toward Kelly, and looked at her with an expression that was equal parts disappointment and compassion. "I hope you figure out what you're searching for, Kelly," he said, his voice echoing through the silent studio. "Whatever it is that's making you question everyone else's choices, including your own, I really do hope you find some peace." Then he walked off completely, leaving Kelly alone on her own stage, the weight of the confrontation sinking heavily into the room. She wiped her face again, trying to steady her breathing as the audience sat frozen, unsure how to react. Off camera, her producers were signaling urgently, clearly trying to get her to cut to commercial and salvage the remainder of the show. But Kelly stayed where she was for a few seconds longer, almost as if she was replaying the conversation in her mind, feeling every word hit her all over again. What had started as a simple, friendly interview between two idol alumni had spiraled into something far deeper, more emotional, and more vulnerable than anyone watching could have predicted. The question now is, what really caused such an intense blow-up? Was Kelly projecting her own career struggles onto Adam? Or was she genuinely aiming for a deeper, more honest discussion that simply went too far? And was Adam justified in walking away? Or should he have stayed and tried to address things right there on camera? These are the questions that are going to be debated for days, maybe weeks. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any updates on the fallout from this moment. And let me know in the comments, do you think Kelly pushed too hard, or was Adam overly sensitive about his career path?